Welcome back guys, hope you're all doing great, and this is the part 2 of our full stack video blog application. If you haven't watched the part 1, I dropped the link in the description box, so go ahead and watch the part 1 and then watch this part 2. And let's have a quick recall what we done in the part 1. In the part 1 we were finished until this navigation bar category, and we completed this video upload. So we successfully saved our details in the Firebase database. So now all we need to do, fetch the data from the Firebase, and we need to create these nice feed boxes. So without wasting your time, let's get started. Okay then, so now let's go to the Firebase documentation and search for Firestore, because we are using the Firestore database. And the first link, cloud Firestore Firebase documentation, open it, and you can find the cloud Firestore. And here this is the introduction, so take your time, go and read all these things, and let's get started by reading data, because we are going to read the data. And click get data once. And here it has this nice documentation, just line by line they clearly explained everything. So this is to get a single document. In our case, we are going to get all the documents in the collections. So this is what we are going to use. We are going to use the get docs method from that specific collections, and it will return a promise. So we are going to get that promise. So let's start now. So open up your Visual Studio Code. So we are going to create a new file in our utils folder. Right click, so name it as fetch data.js. okay, so inside this folder, first what we need to do is we are going to create all the necessary functions which is going to support our application. Okay, so let's import our Firebase app first from /Firebase config. So we need to have our Firebase app. Okay, and I'm going to insert quite a few packages from, let me ignore the format. So then import, we are going to import a few packages from the Firebase/Firestore. Yeah, so from, I missed the keyword from, so it's showing error. So inside the Firebase, we are going to, from the Firestore, I need few packages. First, I need the collection to define for what collection I'm going to use. Then get docs function. These two class functions we needed. So to fetch all the details from the Firestore database. Okay, and now let's create a function. So this is to fetch all details. Fetch all docs from Firebase. So wherever you're able to comment it, give a comment. So later, after a few days or few months, if you open your code again, you itself forget what you written and what's the purpose of that. So better write a comment whenever it's possible to write it. Then I'm going to export a function, export const get all feeds. So give a proper naming convention, that really helpful for you. And then this is going to be an asynchronous function. If you notice here, where it is, if you notice here, they're using await. So it's need to wait until it's collect all the details from the Firebase. So we need to use the asynchronous function. That's what we are going to do. And it's going to take a parameter, most probably the Firestore DB instance, which I'm going to pass whenever I'm calling this function. So I'll create this instance in the component where I need this particular function. Okay, so Firestore DB will pass as a parameter, and I'm going to open an arrow6 function. Okay, inside this function, I'm going to get all the details like await, get docs, the parameter. If you have a look at it, it needs the collection, and it's inside this we need to give the collection needs the database instance along with your collection name. So let's go ahead and create that. Okay, so inside here I'm just going to pass the collections, But what I need to do is I need to, because if you have a look at it, look at here, so it's showing a day ago and 5 days ago. That means the latest video should be always in the top of it. So we need to order it. So if you go here, order and limit data, and there you can find how to pass a query into it. Okay, so we are going to pass this query inside our collection. Okay, so I'm going to wrap the entire, this is the collection reference, nothing but your collection reference. So we are going to combine it. So inside here I'm going to write query, which is going to come from our Firestore, and it's a function. Inside this query, we need to pass the collection first, from where you are going to fetch it. So collection. Okay, for the collection we need to pass the Firestore, the database instance, so Firestore DB, which we pass from the as a parameter. Then you need to give the collection name, what collection you are going to use. Our collection name is the videos. So let me copy that name, copy it, and then go back to our here as a string, pass it as a string. Then this is our instance. Whenever you're fetching the data from the instance, order the data by, because here the ID, everything inside our data, where it is here, everything is, it's an time string. So I'm just going to order it by using this string. Okay, inside the data we have the field called ID, where it is, here it is, ID. So this is this and this, both are same only, so no issue. I'm using that ID, and then I need to arrange it in a descending order, right? We need to arrange it in the descending order. So let's go ahead and do that. ID, D, DESC in a descending order. Okay, so that will return a promise. So we need to catch that promise. So const feeds equals await get docs. So now we have the feeds. All I need to do, return, as I said, it will return a promise. If you directly returning it, let me show you what's happening. Okay, for the time being, I'll show you what is exactly happening right now. Okay, so now all I need to do, let me close this, close others. Let's bring back the fetch data. So we'll keep it clean. Now home and fetch data is neat, because here only we are loading the feed. I load all the data and I pass it to our feed here. So let's go ahead, and first what we need to do inside here, we need to create a few state to monitor our feeds. So use state snippets feeds, set feeds. For the time being, it's going to be now. Okay, and we need to import a few packages. So first package, we need to import the Firebase app. Import Firebase app from our config. Then we need to fetch the Firestore, get the Firestore. So along with that, we need to import the quite a few packages from the Firestore. So import. So this is here, import from Firebase Firestore. Okay, so first we need to get the Firestore instance. So for that, we need to use the get Firestore method. Using the Firestore method, because this function needs the Firestore database instance, right? So we are going to get that Firestore instance and we are going to pass it to our function over there. So now all we need to do, we have the use state. Above this, we need to get the Firestore instance. So this is Firestore database instance. Okay, so const Firestore, better we use the same name to avoid confusion. Copy it and paste it here. Firestore DB, so get Firestore DB, get Firestore from our, by using the Firebase app configuration. So fetch all these details with our configuration. So now we have that instance and we have the state to get the detail, and using the use effect hook, I'm going to fetch the details. It takes two parameters. One is the function and another one is dependencies itself. Okay, so I'm going to re-render it whenever the feeds it gets updated. Okay, so next what we need to do, for the time being, I'll just keep it as a single instance. If you don't give anything inside this dependencies, that means this will render only one time. It doesn't render every single time. If it fail to give that, it will render every single time whenever there is a changes happen. So we don't want that. So that's why I'm passing an empty dependency for time being now. Okay, then what I need to do is I need to fetch the data, fetch the detail. So first of all, we have the spinner, right? Where it is, we created the loader, the spinner. Okay, so when it's going to, yeah, okay, that's fine. It's quite confusing. Okay, we don't need to confuse. So first let's fetch the details, then we will move on. Okay, so let's get the details by get all feeds. This is the method which is coming from our utils. So let it import. So this is automatically imported. So get all feeds. This function needs two different parameters. Only one parameter, that is our Firebase instance. Where it is, this is it. Give it. And this method will return a promise. So .then data, an arrow6 function, open it, and I'm just going to console.log data. Save the changes, and let's go to our browser. It's showing you state is not defined. Very well, import it. It's imported. F12, go to the console. Okay, so we are getting quite a big promise over here. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's returning a promise. So we need to handle that promise over here. Where we need to handle it? Over here. It's returning the complete promise. So that's returning a bunch of values which we don't understand exactly. If you go here and how they are fetching the details, let's go back to the get data once. And let's go back to the get all documents in collections. Look at that. They are returning only the document data. Where let's go here where we having the data documents. Inside the documents, I think, yeah, inside the documents we having the array. Inside the array we having the details. That's what we need. So we need to fetch that one only. So let's go back and go to our home and fetch data. Sorry, here I'm just going to return just like return docs, return.docs dot map, because sometimes we might definitely we have lots of documentation. So doc, it will get that doc. Inside that we have multiple documents. We need to return every single documents inside that. So doc dot data. Okay, this is the complete collections, right? And we are fetching one by one document, and from the one by one document using the data method we are getting all the fields which is inside that document. Okay, this is how you need to fetch the data. Now let's go ahead and have here, look at here, we have an array and this is our video detail. Now all we have to do, we need to pass these details to our, we need to set the set feeds, we need to set these feeds to feeds to our feeds data. Then we need to pass it to our feed document. So in the meanwhile, what we have to do is we need to set the loading state, because sometimes it will take quite a long time to load your data if your internet is not bad. So we need to handle that one also, right? We need to give some interactive spinner over there. So I'm going to create a one more state, use state snippet loading. Okay, so false. For the time being it's going to be false. If it is, if loading, we need to return the spinner which we added from our components. Save the changes. Okay, let's have a look. Currently nothing is happening. And if you go here, once it's loaded, set the loading to true, and once the data everything is set to that, set loading is equals false. So save the changes. It's loading, and look at that, we have that information over here. Cool, right? But actually our loading is happening over there. I'm not sure. We need to set this loading in our home page, or we need to have it in our what we can do is we need to think something, because guys, if you look at it, see, if I'm refreshing here, see, the loading is happening at the top. So we not supposed to do that, right? We need to load it only here, right? So we need to load only there. So what we can do is to avoid that, the only best solution is we can do it all these things in our feed.jsx. Just give me a moment, let me think. If we are doing it in the feed, where it is feed components, if you are doing it in the feed, then how to send the details? We have the feed and it will take the feed. Okay, I think that's the best way to do all these things. We need to keep all these functionalities in our feed.jsx. Okay, so I think I made a mistake. So what we can do is we cut everything from here, Control X, and we will change everything into over here. I'm sorry for that trouble, because I thought it might be comfortable to keep everything in the home itself. My bad, sorry. So cut it, save the changes, and let's import everything over here. Save the changes here. So if it's everything is so, we are getting a bunch of errors. Use state is not imported and use effect is also not imported. If everything is happening, console.log feeds. We'll check that feeds. It should refresh it. Now the loading state is loading over here because the feed is not taking the complete length. That's why it's loading over here. That we can fix it in the styles. And let's check whether we have our details or not. Console showing null. Why? I think, wait a second, let me console log it over here. Console.log data. The data is coming, it should console log it. Cool. So it's loading our data. Okay. So actually that use state is rendering only one time, right? That's why it's not printing that one. If I print it here, I need to pass that feeds over here, because initially this use state will render and it will print it. When you're printing, initially it was null. When we are setting these details, because this is an await method, it will take time until it gets loaded, but use effect will be rendered fastly. So once it's rendered, the feeds will be updated. If the feeds updated, this use effect will be re-rendered. Look at here. Now, if I go here, it's constantly returning that feeds, right? Because every time it's getting re-rendered again and again and again and again. So to avoid that, we need to remove it, save the changes. So our data is finally, it's getting the details and everything. So we don't need to worry about it. Okay, cool, fine. Then what we need to do is we need to customize that feed details and everything just like this. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so we successfully loaded all the feeds what we needed. So now what we need to do, so it's loading, it's having this load assigned perfectly, that's fit perfectly. Then what we need to do is actually we need to fix this feed design. So first let's fix this feed design, then we'll come over here and it's simply loading. So to avoid that, what we can say, we'll pass a message prop loading your feeds like that. Oh, logging, not loading your feeds. Now that will display the loading your feeds message over there, and let's start customizing our feeds. Okay, so for this feeds, if you have a look at it, it's having this nice grid over here and it's completely responsive. So for that, I'm going to use the simple grid from the Chakra UI, and this is the complete responsive. So if you go to the auto responsive grid, this is the responsive grid. We are going to use this particular grid. So let me copy it from here and go to our feed.jsx, paste it here. So that's going to, let's import this one and let's import this box because it will throw us an error otherwise. Save the changes. Now let's go ahead and let's have a look what we having. Look at that. It's having this particular, we having a very specific problem here. Let's have a look at it. What's the problem with that? Let me expand it. Actually, our feed, this is container, this is feed component. So it's not taking the complete length. I need to figure it out why it's not taking the complete width. Let's go back to our home.feed, where it is home.jsx, and I think the problem is let's fix this. Let's see what is the problem. I'm not okay, that's not this the problem. 95%, this is the problem, or actually it's not a problem. Justify the content, we'll see justify the content in the center and align the items in the center, and padding px is equals, we'll try to figure it out what's the problem. px4. Okay, now it's taking full length, but what's the problem with this? This is not coming in a straight line. Why? Inspect elements. Okay, so now that's in a straight way, and let's go here and go to our feed, simple grid. I think it's not taking the full width. Maybe we'll write the width over here. Width is equals, take whatever the parent width, take the full width from there. Let's see. I hope it should work now. Look at that. So we fixed it. So I thought that's the problem. So this is the simple grid is not taken the full width. Okay, cool. Now if I change it to responsive mode, see here, it's working perfectly fine. Okay, fine. Let's go back, and instead of having these boxes, delete it. I don't want any box. And then instead of the minimum child width, I'm going to use it 300 pixels. We pick 300 pixels. Okay, and then it should automatically align the column, auto columns. So always take the maximum content length, whatever the content we're having. Here it's saying 300 pixels. That means if it is possible for 4 column means how many? If it is 1200 pixel means it can go for 4 columns. If it is 1600 means it can go for 5 columns. So it always focus on the maximum content over there. And the spacing, I don't need 40 pixels of spacing between them. So all I need 15 pixels is enough. Okay, then inside this padding, I'm just adding a padding for it, 2 pixels padding, and overflow is hidden. Okay, so currently nothing will be there. Now we need to render the feed. If there is a feed, we need to render the feed. Okay, so open it. So feeds, if there is a feeds, and feeds dot map, open a bracket, data, open this is open the functional bracket. This is a component bracket. We are not going to render a function, it's a functional, it's a component. We are going to render a complete component. Inside this we are going to render each and every video pin. Okay, that's what we're having over here, the video pin. We are going to render the video pin over here. So video pin slash, this will takes the key is equals to we will get the ID from the data, so data.id will be the key, and the maximum width it should take max width it should take only 420 pixels, and height is equals 80 pixels. Let's see what's happening right now. So look at that, we're having pin, because currently we're having only one pin over there. Let me check if I add one more video. So I'm just giving some title, let's say rain, and let's go to, this is the nature location, click here, and let me upload this rain video. It's uploading, loading, and let me type some good comments over here. This is let me copy some data from internet regarding rain, where I can copy. What is the full meaning of rain? Okay, copy this and paste it here. This is going to be bold, heading 1, rain, unwanted spaces deleted, and this is going to be heading 2. Okay, so now our video is uploaded and it's loading. Cool. And if I click upload, and this will be upload, look at that, now we're having the 2 videos over here. Cool, right? 2 video pin, because we have 2 different videos, that's why it's showing 2 video pins. So let's go ahead and customize it. Let's go back to the video pin where what we created, and now we are going to customize it. Okay, so first what we need to do is we create a flex for it to bring the details. So flex box, and that's a flex box, it's coming from Chakra UI. Okay, and justify the content, everything inside here, that's a space between, and then align the items, everything in the center, and then direction of it, it's going to be flex direction, it's going to be column, and cursor, it's going to be pointer, and shadow, it's going to be G. And even when I hover over it, I need to get the shadow is going to be Excel, and rounded, medium rounded, short, we don't need the short edges. So overflow, it's going to be hidden. Oops, my bad. Hidden. Then position is going to be a relative position. Maximum width, it's going to be 300 pixels. Save the changes. Now let's go ahead and see what we have. Nothing, because there is no background color. So let me give some BG, let's say gray, 200. Let's see what we have. Nothing. Why it's not coming? Nothing. Okay, it's not coming because it doesn't have any width and height. Come on, say the changes. Let's go here and check. Look at that. So now we have something. So we're having that pin and pin color background something. Okay, right. So we don't need to worry about this over here, right? Delete it. Okay. So inside here now I need to load the video, right? So we need to load the video. So whenever the user clicks the video, it should take the user to somewhere. So link. This link is coming from router dot. Okay, React router dot to where it needs to take. For the time being, I'm just giving an empty string. Later I'll show you where it's need to take that particular thing. Okay, so let's say video. It's going to be a video tag, and it's a self-closing video tag. Okay, so source is equals. What is the source? Source is actually coming from our feed, because here we are getting the data. We need to pass the data into as a prop for our data. Copy it, go here and pass it, destructure the data over here, and we need to use the data in here. Data dot. What is our video URL? So copy this. This is what we are going to load in our application. So go back here and paste it here. Video URL. Okay, and this, it should be muted. It should not play. Now if you go back here, it's loading that video. Look at that. So our video is successfully loaded. Okay, so I don't need the background color anymore, so that will give some noise. Cool. So now we have that video, and all we have to do, what we need to do, we need to when I hover over it, it should start playing. To do that, what you need to do is, we have two different events for our video. One is on mouse over. On mouse over, it will trigger an event that e.target.play. It's going to play. Once that on mouse out, where is the out? On mouse out, it will return another function. In that case, it's going to return an event, and that it's going to be e.target.pass. Okay. So now if I go here, if I hover over it, it started playing. Look at that. It's playing now. When I release it, it stopped. Cool, right? Wow, it's working good. So then what we need to do over here, we are having these two informations, that the ID of it, and it's having this user picture, and it's having that moments user. That means that detail when it gets uploaded. That's what we need to fix it. So let's go ahead, and then right after this link tag, I'm going to create one more flex box. So flex, and this flex is going to be position, absolute position. Okay, and it should be in the bottom only. Bottom 0, left 0, padding 2, and BG, because when the color is changing, it's need to change, right? So I'm going to do the dynamic color. We are going to change this by dynamically. So I'm going to copy the BG and text color, which we are already having dynamic color code, what we are having here. Copy this, and I'm going to paste it in here. Paste it, and let me import use color mode. Use the color mode, and we need to import use the color value. Import both from the Chakra React, and we don't need the toggle color mode, so delete it. And instead of this color, I'm going to change the color to different colors. Instead of that, I'm going to bring black alpha 700 and gray 900. Okay, and the text mode, we need the text color also, so let's bring the text color. So text color is going to be gray 100, no changes in that. So now I'll supply that VG over here. So that will take care of whenever you're toggling from normal mode to another mode. And it should take the width 100%, width full, whatever the length it is, take it, and direction it's going to be column. Okay, so inside this flex box we are going to create one more flex box. This is to display the name and the user details, and another one, it's going to have two divisions. If you have a look over here, it's having two divisions. One is for these and another one division is for this. So that's what we are creating here inside this flex box, and this is going to take the width full. Okay, and justify the content space between, and align items center. Inside here I need to fetch the text title first, so display that I'm going to use the text from Chakra UI, and I'm going to display the data.title. That's what we are having in our that's what we're having in our feed. Then color, text color should change according to this text color object, and is truncated. Is nothing but in case if the text length is too big, it will automatically add the ... at the end of the title. For that only, font size is equals 20 pixels. Save the changes. Let's go here and look at that. We have our title over here, so that's good, right? So next we need to bring the user picture, who created it. After here we are loading the image, self-closing tag, and this image is going to say take the source is going to be we need to fetch the user informations from the we need to fetch the user information, right? So user information should be who posted that video, right? It's that user picture should from the who posted that video. So inside this, if you go here inside that video tag, if you have a look at it, we're having that user ID. Using this user ID, we are going to fetch it from the user collection. So that's what we are going to do next. Okay, so let's get the user, we'll pass the user ID to that, we'll collect that information from that collection. So that's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so let's move on to our Firebase documentation, and if you go to the example get data once, and here you can see the get document, and you need to use this function to send the reference. This is our Firebase instance, that means database instance. This is the collection name, and this is what document, which document you want to fetch. So we are going to fetch the document using the user ID, because we saved the document by using the user ID over here, right? We are going to use this as a document instance to fetch the details. So let's go back to our application and save it for the time being, because we don't have any image source and image is not imported. Let's import it from Chakra UI. So currently no images over there. What we need to do is we need to fetch the data where it is. Over here, fetch data. Go to the fetch data, and we need to create a function. This function is used to fetch the user information using user ID. Okay, so export const get user info is equals async, and Firestore, we need the Firestore DB, that means the database instance, and along with that I'll pass the user ID also, because we are going to fetch the details by using the user ID. This function needs two different parameters. One is the Firebase database instance, and another one is the user ID. That's the main hero of this function. Okay, then we need to create the instance. So const user reference is equals what the function they are using. They are using the function called doc, so we need to use that. So doc, import that doc first from the Firestore, so it's imported. Then this function needs the database as the instance first, database instance. So after that, what What is the collection name? Users. That's what our collection name, users. Okay, then it's need the which collection you are going to fetch, user ID. Okay, so try to fetch that particular collection, particular document from that database. Then that returns the promise. Okay, so because if you're using it over here, that will returns the promise, and then from that promise we need to get the data. Cool. So let's say const user snap await. This method is going to await, and we are going to use the get doc, not get docs. It's not going to get all the doc, it's going to get a single doc. So doc pass that user reference which we created, so that will return it. If the user snap dot exist, if the data, if that user snap is exist, then return user snap dot data. If not, return this message, return no such document. Okay, it will return no such document. Cool. So let's go back here to our fetch data, where we are going over to video pin, and we need to get the user information, right? So I'm going to create a new state for getting the user information, user state snippet. Oops, not this one. User state, come on, use state snippet. User info, set user info null. Okay, and we are going to use the use effect, and import the use state also, use effect. This will takes two parameters, one is function itself and another one dependencies. Here I'm going to use the user info. If there is any changes in user info, re-render it. Okay, so here we are going to use that method to fetch the details. So we need to fetch the details, exactly what we did for the feeds over here. Okay, so let's go here, and what is the function name? Get user info. Go back here, get user info, import it, get that user information, and that's need two important thing. What is that? Firebase DB instance. So we need to import these two, where it is, get Firestore. We need to import that one, get Firestore, and we need to get this Firestore instance. Right after here, we'll get that Firestore DB instance, and we will pass that Firestore DB into it, and then we need to pass the user ID also. So we need to create one more state to monitor the user ID. Const user use state snippet user ID, set user ID. It's going to be null. Okay, so it's going to be null. If that it's having the data ID, if data ID, it needs to, we need to set the data ID, right? Where we can set the data ID, we are sending the data over here, and I think it's better to have user ID here, user ID, and we are here, we are setting the user ID. That means if the data, then set user ID as data dot. We need to have that, we have that user ID, right? What is the field we are having in for the user ID? Go to videos, inside the videos, we having this user ID. Copy this user ID and pass it over here. That will be set, and we will pass that user ID. So we need to check before having it. If user ID only, then we need to get this method. If user ID, get user info, pass that Firestore DB and pass that user ID, and that will return a promise. Then data, open a function. Here we will console log it for the time being. Console.log data. I think it will work fine, or it will throw us an error. F12. So it's returning two different objects, two times. It's trying to fetch the two times the details because we're having two different things, two different pins. Okay, so now we are getting all the details regarding, because two times is video pin executor, and that's why it's printing two times. So now we are getting the details. So you should keep it this as a state. Okay, then only it will doesn't throw any unwanted errors. Okay, so now we have that details in our inside our console logit. We need to set user info as the data. So that will be set. Whenever the user ID is changed, this will set that information. It will constantly update that state, and it will fetch the information, and it will display the information. Good, right? Then over here we need to get the user info. Condition render it dot. Let's go back here and go to the users table, and we having that photo URL. Copy this photo URL and go here and give it that photo URL. Now this photo will be rendered over there. Look at that. Cool, right? So we successfully done it. Then what we need to do, we need to add some customizations for these image. Let's go and add some customizations. Make it rounded equals full. It should be in a round shape, and width I'm going to make it as 50 pixels. Height also I'm going to make it as 50 pixels, and border I'm going to make it as 2 pixels, and border color I'm going to give the BG itself, the background color, whatever the background color takes, take it. And margin top, it should be above a little bit. It should move a little bit high. Margin top -10. Let's see how it looks. Look at that. This is how it's supposed to looks like. Okay, cool. And this, whenever I click this image, it should takes me to the video details, right? Video that user information. So we need to go to that particular user information. So we should wrap this completely into a link tag. Link. Okay, and this is coming from router DOM, React router DOM to, for the time being, empty string. Paste it inside here. Okay, so let's see. Let's fetch. Let's go to the home. And here we're having that video detail. Okay, so whenever user clicks that video, it should takes the user to that particular video detail. Go to the video pin over here, string literals, pass that video literal, and we need to pass the video ID. Okay, video ID, it's going to be this. It's quite confusing, but you should follow it. We need to pass this video ID. We're having that same ID inside here. So let's go here and pass that video ID. Data.id. So now if you go back to your screen, if you click this, that will takes the user to video detail. Why it's showing some error? Console cannot read the properties of ID. Here it's getting this. Then how it's defined and undefined? How it's getting undefined? Okay, anyway, we'll condition render it. You click this, still I'm not sure what's happening. Let's go back here, refresh it. I think the problem is coming from what we are, oh god, we are trying to load the again and again same video pin, that's why. Okay, this instead of this video pin, what we need to do, we need to load the video detail. So right click, rename, we'll create a new file, video detail, video pin detail, video pin detail.jsx RAFCE, and this will load the pin detail for the time being. Instead of this video pin, we need to fetch the video pin detail. So let's go ahead to the index.js, copy this one and paste it. Instead of this, load the video pin detail, copy this name, and then in the home, change this to video pin detail. Save the changes. Go back now. Now if you click it, that will load the video pin details. Look at that. Cool, right? Okay. The same as when we click this one, user picture, it should take the user to that. It should take this image. Whenever I click that user picture, it should take the user profile. So we need to create one more thing. That's user profile.jsx RAFCE. Save the changes, close it, close the video pin detail. We don't need it that right now. Go back to the index.js right after here. Let's copy this line and paste it one more time. Instead of here, we need to display the user profile. Copy this and give it here, save the changes and create one more route and path, it's going to be /user detail /user user ID. Don't forget the colon over there, then only you can fetch the user ID from the URL params. If this URL is coming, then load this particular element. Save the changes. Okay, then now let me copy this link and I'll go to the video pin and I will go to this image and change it to dynamic block of strings and open it. I will pass the user ID. Now I need to pass the user ID which we having in our user ID. Save the changes. I think it's better to use this user ID or okay, the time being we'll keep it. Later we will check if there is any mistake it's happening. We'll see. If I click this, it should, where is the user profile? We're having this user profile. Why the text is not displaying? Inspect. Is it throwing some error? No, it's not throwing any error. URL is passed, so it's need to display that message, right? But it's not displaying. Why? Inside it, it's nothing. Where I loaded that router, where it is, home, it's inside the route only. Problems, everywhere problems. So what is happening right now? Element is loaded, user profile, RAFCE, save the changes, click it. If I'm clicking this, it's coming, the video detail is perfectly coming, then that's also supposed to come, right? Then let's see what's the problem. Then if it is not taking this one, then we will get the data dot data dot, then how we fetched it, data dot user ID. Nope, that's also not coming. We'll leave it as it is, user ID. Okay, we'll leave for the time being now. For the time being, okay, well, for the time being, let it be. Later we'll try to figure it out what is happening. Okay, so now the image is loaded and the data title is loaded, and one more thing is missing for our video detail. What is that missing? If you go to their application, you can see that it's the moment when it's uploaded, that is missing. For that, we are going to use the moments.js. If you open it, you can see that it's having this npm command over here. So copy this npm command. We are going to install it and open your terminal. Go to the new terminal, cls, paste it. So that will install that moment.js. Using that moment.js, we are going to fetch the user that when that video gets uploaded. If you have a look at here, you can see that how it's revealing the time, relative time. We need to use this from now method. When from now, according to the date string, when it gets uploaded. So we having the date string as the ID only for our video. See, it's a date string. When we uploaded the date string, we need to pass this and we need to fetch that date string, and we need to use this method from that date string according to our current system date string. What is the time? That difference. That's what we are going to find it over here. Let's have a look. It's installed. Let's go back. Okay, so right after the image, the flex will be ended. So this flex box will be end. After this flex box, I'm going to create one more text. Okay, this text is going to be font size of 12. Color, it's going to be text color. Margin left, it's going to be auto because it should be in the right side of the card. That's why. Then I'm going to use the moment. Let's import the moment. This moment takes the input. When you what is the string of that moment? That's the input. So we having that as a date string. We need to convert it as a date first. So new date. Pass that date as that's it's stored as a string. We need to convert it as an integer. Data.id, pass the data.id over here, and then after this here, convert that to ISO string format. We need to convert the date to as an ISO string format. Then from now. So this is the new date function. Inside the new date function, we having that pass int, and we are converting that date into a toString method, to ISO string. Then we are converting from using this moment dot, then moment dot from now, we are going to fetch the detail. If everything is working fine, we should get the text as when it gets uploaded. See, 32 minutes ago, 2 days ago. Cool, right? It's working absolutely fine. So we successfully finished the video pins. Let's go ahead and upload one more video and let's check whether it is working fine or not. So after here, let's say dancing. Let's go for music. Give the details, upload the video. There it is. No more videos for me. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'll give this one. I'll change the title. Gamepad. Games. Who love playing games? I love playing games. I used to play games a lot. Then heading 1. Okay, so it's uploading. So video, it's uploaded. Click upload. Look at that. a few seconds ago. So it's successfully working, guys. So we successfully implemented the video pin details. So go ahead and add few more videos as you wish, and the next what we are going to do, we are going to implement the complete video pin details. If I click this, it's going to load all the video pin details, and this is what we are going to do next. Okay then, so I just logged in with my another account, and then I uploaded quite a few video over here. So I just took my time and uploaded a few videos with my another ID. And if you notice here, not every user will have the image, right? Sometimes some user will not have a photo URL also. In that situation, it will be blank or it will throw some error. So we need to avoid that, right? So I hope the link, it's working perfectly. And this image, if I click this image, that's also, it's working perfectly. So previously it was not it's not showing anything. It's because I just refreshed it. I didn't change anything, code, everything is working fine. I just refreshed it, then it's working fine. Okay, I hope it will work fine for you too. If it is not working fine, just stop the server and rerun the server, it will work fine. Then what we need to do is we need to fix this solution. So I'll just going to load an avatar over here. If you search, go ahead and search for avatar placeholder, and you can find quite few nice avatars. I just search for creative avatar placeholder because I love this comic avatars. So I'm just going to use this one. So right click, copy image address, and let me go here, and I'm going to load it over here itself. Const avatar is equals that string. Okay, I'm going to load that one, copy it. This is where we are loading. If this URL is there, user info dot photo URL, else load that avatar. Okay, let's make sure whether it's working fine or not. Let me close it. Look at that. So I just deleted that. So if it is not there, it will load that avatar. If it's there, it will load that user picture. Okay, so fine. Now everything is looking good. So all we have just need to move on to our video pin details. So toggle mode is working fine. Yep, it's looking good in both the modes. Let's go back here, and here if you have a look at it, if I click this video, it's having this nice UI, right? So let's get started with that. So first we need to bring this one, so let's bring that one. For that, what we need to do, let's go back to our video pin, go to our video pin details, open it. Currently it's empty. Inside this video pin detail, we need to load one by one. Okay, we are going to fetch all the details and we are going to display one by one. To do that, first what we need to do, we need to let's go here and find out what the structure is. So this might be the flex completely, and inside the flex everything is in the flex direction, and this is one flex, and this is one flex, and this is it's going to be a very big one. Okay, so let's change this to flex now. Flex, and import this flex from Chakra UI. It's imported, and we need to add two important things for this flex. So width, it's going to be full, and height, it depends according to the height, it should change auto. Justify the content center, align the items in the center, direction, it's going to be column, and padding py, it's going to 2, and px, it's going to 4, 2 and 4. And inside this we are going to have one more flex, that's flex, and that's going to have the align items center, and the width it's going to have full, or fit to content full, and both in top and bottom margin Y it's going to have Y 4, and link we are going to use the link. When the user clicks this, it should take the user to home directory, and inside this, that's nothing but we are designing this icon, and we are going to use that icon. What I'm going to use the IO home icon from React icons. Okay, close it, and font size is going to be 25. Save the changes, and now look at that, we have that icon. If I click this, it will take back to our home. Okay, it's good, it's working good. Then what we need to do, we need to display the text title, video info title. So we are going to fetch the video detail by using the parameters. So because we are passing this user ID in the parameter, we will get that user ID from the parameter. To get that, we need to use the params hook from the React router DOM. Where it is React router DOM, here we need to use the use params. Okay, and I'm going to get the user ID for that video ID. So const, what is the ID I'm passing here? Video ID. Copy it, and if you have, let me show you. If I print params equals, okay, use params, and then use effect, open it, open and close the function. If I am console logging in, console.log, use that params. If I print that params, see what's happening. If I go to F12 and I'll go back to my console now, it's returning an object and it's returning the video ID. All we just need this video ID. This is the URL, and we need that URL ID only. We need to get that video ID. Copy that video ID, and we don't need this console log anymore, and this should render whenever the video ID changes. Instead of here, I'm just destructuring it and I'm fetching the video ID itself. Okay, save the changes and leave some space over here. Okay, use effect. If there is a video ID, if it has the video ID, what you want to do? If it have the video ID, I need to fetch the video information, right? So for that we need to write a query. So let's open our, let me close this. Feed, we done with feed. Let's close this. Index, we done with that. Close it. Home, we don't need it right now. Close it. Go to the fetch data, and now we need to write a command to get the specific video. Okay, we need to get the specific video, just like that. Same thing what we did for the user, we are going to do the same thing over here. Fetch the specific video. Okay, so I'm just going to write export const get specific video equals async. It's a async method, and we are going to pass the Firestore DB along with video ID. Open it. Okay, so just like here, we are going to get the reference. So let me copy it and paste it exactly over here. We don't need to waste the time again and again. Instead of user reference, this is going to be the video reference. Instead of users, it's going to be videos, because that's what we're having in our here, this one, that name, collection name, video. And instead of user ID, it's going to be video ID, and instead of user snap, it's going to be video snap. Just a different name for the naming convention. I'm passing this video reference over here, and I'm passing this one also over here and over here. Okay, that's good. So now this is ready to use. So let's go back to our pin detail, video detail, and let's create one more state. Use state snippet is loading, currently false. Okay, if it is loading, what we need to do, we need to return, if it is loading, we need to return the spinner. If is loading, then return what happened. Why it's showing error? Okay, spinner, it's not showing any suggestions. Let me change it to true. Use state. Use state. Is that showing any error? True, it's not defined. Why it's showing error like this? Wait a second. Cut it. What happened? Something is not fine. Spinner import where is the spinner? Where I'm having spinner? Feed. Yeah, here it is. Copy this, go back to the here, paste it, copy this name over here, and let's create use state snippets is loading false. Save the changes. If it is true, it will display that loading. Okay, then after here I will create the use effect open and close function, and that video ID, if there is anything, this will be rendered. Okay, so I don't know what mistake previously I made, I'm not sure still. Okay, now it's working. Over here, next what we need to do is we need to if the user ID, if we have that, if that video ID is there, open it, and then inside here we need to fetch that video information. Okay, we need to fetch that video information. So first I'm going to set the set loading as true. Set is loading as true. Then I'm going to get the get specific video from the utils fetch data. Open it. I need to pass the Firestore and all those things. Go to the feed, we already written over here, copy it and then paste it right after here. And let's import the get Firestore and let's import the Firebase app. Okay, now pass that Firestore DB first, then pass your user, video ID. Why I'm saying user video ID. Then it will return a promise, get that data, and then you need to have the one more state, const use state snippet video info. It's going to be null when initially, and once we get that video info, we need to set video info with that data. And after this, I'm just, for the time being, I'm just console.log that data. And after that, set is loading as false. If everything is working fine, it will load and it will find. And if I go to the console, we will get that video information. Look at that. We got that video information. So it's working good. Now everything is fine. So we have our video info in our hand. So we don't need this console log. And one more console log is coming from somewhere else, right? Where it is coming from? So whenever you have that console log, remove it. It's coming from video pin details. Video pin details only. Here only it's coming from. Okay, so I just deleted it. So now we have that get a specific video information. So it's working fine, right? And then what we need to do, we need to display that video title. Where we want to display that video title, right after this link, we need to display that video title. And right after this, I need to open a box. I need to display a divider. Width it's going to be, and imported width is going to be 1 pixel. Height it's going to be 20 pixel. And BG is going to be it's going to be gray.500, and MX in both sides, x-axis to save the changes. So that will gives you close this divider over here. 20 pixel, it's not enough. 25 pixels. Okay, that's good. Then after this, what I need to do, I need to display that title of that video. So I'm just going to say text. Let's import it from Chakra UI. And then this is going to have quite a few properties. Is truncated, and color, it's going to use the text color. So I need to bring the color mode also. Where it is, where we have that color mode, somewhere we add the color mode. Okay, let me copy and paste it. So const use color mode, where it is, const right after here, paste it, use color mode, import it. These are the values it's going to use. Text color, that will import the text color. Then what we need to do, it should be font weight, it's going to be semi bold, and width it's going to be 100%. And then inside here it should display the title, that video. From the video info, I need to fetch the video title, save the changes, delete it. It's showing it, delete it. Go here, look at that. Now we have the title. If I go back and if I click this one, see, it's changing. So it's fetching the details and it's showing all these informations over there. Okay, so now let me go back again. It's working fine. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to bring that video informations, all the video details. We need to fetch that video details and we need to display like this, and we need to display the user informations also. Okay, so for this we are going to use a different package, and that's what we are going to discuss next. Okay then, so now let's start designing this nice design for our video. If you go to your Chakra UI and if you search for grid, we are going to use the grid. Okay, so we are going to use this grid to design our video design what we are having over there. So let's fix the layout, then we'll talk about that video player and all those things. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this grid system, grid templates. So just go through this grid template and we are going to take your time and go through it. And for the time being, I'm just start designing it. Let's go back to our code. So right after that text, we are finishing that flex box over here. So right after here, this is our main grid for video. Here, video and user. And let's start writing the grid. Import the grid, open it. And this grid is going to take quite a few styles. So template columns, it's going to use 3 columns. We are going to divide it into 3 columns. Repeat, 3 columns and 1 frame. Okay, close the bracket. So this will create 3 different columns, and the gap between each and every column, it's going to be 2, and width, it should always be that it should take the 100% of the available width. Inside here, I'm just going to have 2 grid items. Grid item, 2 grid item. Okay, and this grid is going to take the complete width going to be 100%. Copy it and paste it, and for the time being I'm just giving a different background color, BG, blue, padding 2. Let me give it for here also. So we need to understand how it's working, right? So if I save the changes, look at that, it's loading 2 different, but actually its video is quite a big one. So what I need to do is we divided into 3 different columns, right? So for video we need to use the 2 columns. For user info we need to use only 1 column. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to define the column span. So call span, take the 2 columns for the video, and for you take the call span as single. Save the changes. Now look at that. So this is where our video is going to load, and this is where our user information is going to load. So now I don't need these 2. Delete it, delete it, because our layer structure is defined perfectly. Okay, now let's get into this grid item, and inside this grid item we are going to load that complete video. Okay, we are going to load that complete video. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a flex, and this flex is going to be width full. Take that complete width. BG, I'm just going to define the BG background color as black, and position as a relative position. Okay, inside this I'm going to load that video player. For the video player we are going to use the React player. We are going to use this React player, this particular package. This is the package we are going to use for the video player. Okay, so go through this complete document, what are the props it's supporting, and what are the configurations, and what are the callback functions it's providing. Just take your time and go through this completely, and I will explain. Anyway, I'm going to explain all these things in this video, what I'm going to do with this React player and all those things. Okay, so let's import that, install that React player. So go ahead and go to here and npm install that React player. Click enter and press enter. That will download that particular package, and that will take quite a second. So it's successfully installed. So using that, what we are going to do, I'm going to bring the React player. So React player. Okay, so make sure that it's imported perfectly. Where it is React player over here. So that's imported perfectly from the React player. Then the self-closing tag. So for the React player, we need to pass URL. What is the video URL you're going to load? URL, it's going to be from the video info. We are going to load the video info from the video info dot video. What is the name for that video we have in our video URL? Copy that and give it to your URL. Then take the width should always be 100%, and height should always be 100%. Okay, and I think this is enough for the time being. Later we will update everything one more. So if I load it and look at that, so it's loaded that video. It's not showing the controls, but if you bring the controls, if you load the controls, it will brings the controls also. It's having this audio controller, pause and play. It's playing and pausing. Everything is working fine, but the controls is not looking as what we wanted, right? So look at here. So we having our custom logo over here, and we having this pause. If I play this, it's playing, and if I want to move 10 seconds forward or move back 10 seconds backward, okay, and even if I can see through this progress bar over here, and if I want to mute it, it will mute it. Currently it doesn't have audio, so if I go here, where is the train video? If I click this, see, this will has the audio. I can increase the audio sound, I can decrease the audio sound. If I click this, it will be muted. I can see through like this. So if you want to do all those quite a function, we need to customize it a lot. And even it supports the full screen mode also. If I expand it, it will support the full screen mode. Okay, so it's working fine, right? And if I click here, it will be paused and toggle. So it's completely working fine. This is fully customized video player. So that's what we are going to do over here. Instead of displaying this customized controls, we are going to design our own complete controls. Okay, so that's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so let's start customizing this video player. So let me remove this default controls. Let's go here and remove this default control. We don't need that over there. Okay, so what we need to do is, all we have to do, let's, after this React video player, let's create a flexbox. This is all the controls for video player. Okay, so this flex is going to be using the position as absolute position, and it should be top 0, left 0, right 0, bottom 0, and the direction, it's going to be column. Okay, and after that, it should be justify the content space between, align the items center, and z index, it should be the top of it, so 1. Cursor is going to be pointer. Okay, inside here, if you have a look at this, it's having this play, pause, play. If I'm playing it, it's not displaying anything. If I'm not playing, it's displaying the play icon, and it's having this entire division. Inside this division, it's having this slider and along with this different controls. Okay, so that's what we are designing right now. Inside this flex box, I need to bring the what we need to display first inside this flex box. First I need to bring the play icon. So for that I'm going to create a flex. Okay, flex, align items center. Okay, and then justify the content center. Okay, on click, we need the on click event. For the time being I'm just getting the callback event, simply callback function. And then width, it should take full width, full. Height, it should take full. Okay, for playing, to monitor the playing, I'm just going to get that pass. If the I'm going to create a state. If the video is playing, we are not supposed to display that icon. If the video is not playing, we need to display it. So we'll go and create a state first. Use state snippet is playing. Initially it's false. Okay, here we need to render it only if the video is not playing, we need to display, and only if not playing, render this IO play icon. IO play icon, display that play icon, font size 60 pixel, and color, it's going to be hash F2 F2 F2. Cursor is going to be pointer. Save changes. Okay, now we can display that, but on click it's not happening. So all we have to do is we need to use this method to set playing as not is playing. That means if it is true, make it false. If it is false, make it true. That's what we are going to do. So now if I click it, it's gone. If I click it, it will come back. But the video is not playing. So to do that, what we need to do, go to the React player, and React player provides you an option called playing. Playing is equals, pass that state value here. Okay, now if I click it, it will start playing. If I click it, it will be passed. So we fixed one problem. So successfully video is now playing and icon is displaying over there. Okay, so next what we need to do, we need to bring the remaining controls. So right after this flex box, we are going to bring that progress controls. Okay, so progress controls. For that, first we need to load the flex. Let's load the flex box. And that flex box is going to use the width, complete width, full, and align items center. Direction, it's going to be column, and VG gradient. Okay, we are going to use the gradient color for it. So all that, I'm going to use the linear. Okay, this is going to be quite a big, so linear, so don't make any spelling mistake, linear. And to top, from the bottom we are going to top, from the bottom to top. Okay, I'm going to use the black alpha color with the different ranges. Starts from 900, goes until 900, 500, 50, in that range. Okay, inside here currently you don't see any quite different changes over here. Okay, here in this place it looks so light only. Look at that, it's looking so dark and mild, and then nothing. Okay, just like that. That's the gradient work will be done over there. Then what we need to do is inside here. Now inside here, first what we are having over, if you have a look at here, we're having this slider, right? So we need to bring that slider. So let's add the padding also. So px is equals 4. So we need to bring that slider in. For that, we are going to use the slider. Okay, if you have a look at it, it's having a quite a big different sliders over here. So like this with the different styles over here. So you can choose any slider as you wish. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the default slider. Copy this, and I'm going to customize it with my different custom styles. Inside this flex box, I'm going to paste that slider. Let's import the slider track, slider filled track, slider thumb. Save the changes. So now we will get that slider over here. Look at that, we got that slider over here. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to customize this slider a little bit. Okay, so area label, I'm just going to use ex4. Okay, so we are going to use this ex4, and the default value is taking us 30. That's why it's displaying the 30. Later I will change this default value with a different time. Okay, then minimum value, we are fixing the minimum value as 0. Maximum value, you should go 100%, 0% and 100%. Okay, save it. And then slider track, I'm just going to customize the slider track with a different color. Track should be in a different color, so this will match our video color. Okay, so our your logo icon color, so that's what I'm using that. Then slider track is changed. I'm just going to give that slider filled track as 300, a dark color in the same way. Okay, look at that. So this is the slider track and this is the slider filled track. Now it's trying to update our thumb size. The thumb size, it's looking little bit bigger. I'm just going to fix it with box size of 3 and different color. Look at that, I reduced the size and I changed the color. Okay, so slider and slider thumb and everything is looking fine. Next, what we need to do, we need to bring up our another controls. So let's bring up everything, then we will start writing the coding for each and everything. So this is other player controls. Then open the flex box, and this flex box is going to have width as full, align items as center, and both margin top and bottom, it should take 2, and the gap between each and every icons, every controls inside it, it should be 10. Save the changes. Now it should have some space top and bottom. Cool. And right after here, inside it, first what we are going to bring, we are going to bring this 3 icons or this entire section. We'll see, try to how to bring it inside. Okay, so I'm just going to load that one by one. MD outline replay 10, replay 10 or replay 30 seconds, how you want to replay it. Okay, replay 10 seconds forward. Okay, close it. And then font size, it's going to be 30. Color, it's going to be hash F1 F1 F1, and cursor is going to be pointer. And then okay, let's copy this and paste it one more time, and instead of this replay, I'm just going to say forward 10 seconds. Save the changes, and that will display these 2 different icons. Okay, cool. And then in between this, we need to bring the pause and play icons, right? We need to display that pause and play icons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a box, a division. If the video is playing, we should play the pause icon. If the video is not playing, we should play the play icon, right? So we will create a box in between these both icons. Okay, and inside this box, I'm going to check that where it is. If it's not playing, if it's not playing, so we need to display that. Okay, we'll write if not displaying. If it's not playing, then what we have to do, we need to display the where it is. Copy this and we need to display this. Else I'm just displaying again the same icon, but we will change it later. Font size, it's too much, let's say 30, and then change this one also 30. Instead of IO play, we are going to say IO. Save the changes. Now it's having this icon. If the video is playing, it will change to pause. If the video is not playing, it will change to play icon. So we need to add the click event for this one also. So let's fix that one. So add an on click event here, over here, on click, just like the same, call a callback function. Set is playing to not displaying. Save the changes. Now if I click here, it will start playing. If I click here, it will pause the video. If I click here, cool. So we fix that problem. Okay, next what we need to do, we need to display the volume controls, right? Where it is, this volume controls. Okay, then what I'm going to do right after this is for volume control. Over here, let's say, and align items center, gap, use the gap inside this division as 4. Width, I'm just fixing the width as 24. Okay, and we are not supposed to fix the width. What we can do is, we'll see. For the time being, I'll just remove these two. We'll see what we can do. And inside here, I'm just going to create one more box division. Okay, and we need to figure it out, the muted. If you see here, if I mute this, different icon is coming. If I don't mute it, it's showing different icon, right? To figure it out that way, what we are going to do is, I'm going to create a state. Okay, I'm going to create a state to monitor that. So scroll up and we'll create a state. Use state snippet, muted, set muted. It's going to be false initially. False. Save the changes and scroll down. Where is our box? Over here. Over here. If it's not muted, then I need to display one icon, else I need to display one component. Okay, so for that we are going to display MD volume up icon. If it is not muted, display the MD volume up icon. If it is muted, display MD volume off icon. Okay, save the changes. That will display here. So font size, we need to add the font size. Hold your Alt key and click here. It will create the two cursors so that we can write the same styles for two different. Font size 30 and color equals let's say hash, and then cursor, it's going to be pointer. Save the changes, and that will looks like this, but it's not showing anything, right? To do that, what we need to do is, and actually your React player has the muted state. Okay, so it's have a state, it's have a prop to monitor the muted. So muted, if it is muted, what we are going to say, we are going to set that state over here. And for this box over here, we are going to add an on click event. On click, we are going to set this as a muted. On click, a callback function, set muted as not muted. Whatever the muted state is, set it opposite to it. Let's play it. It's playing now. If I click it, it's muted. Still it's playing video. If I click again, it will be not muted. So this muted is now working fine. Then what we have to do, we need to bring this volume control, right? So let's go ahead and bring that volume control over there. Okay, so right after this box, we need to bring that slider. What I'm going to do is, it's quite the same slider only. I'm just going to copy this slider, whatever we're having over here, copy it. I'm going to use the same slider over here, save it. Okay, so instead of this ex4, I'm going to use a smaller size than that. Default value, leave it as 30 itself, but the size of the slider, it's going to be small. By default, the size is medium. Okay, so I'm using the smaller slider. Okay, so it's not showing, it's because of the width. So slider width, it's going to be 24. Look at that. Now it's displaying that width. 24, it's too long, I think so. 16. I think 16 is more than enough, right? Yeah, 16 is more than enough. So we are using 16 now. Then there should be some space between this and this, right? So mx is equals 2. Okay, so this space is enough, more than that. So let's adjust this box size also, make it 2, because slider thumb is too big. We'll make it 2. Okay, that's looking quite awesome. So we're done with that thing. Then what we need to do, we need to focus on the next particular thing, that is our timing over here, the video timing, duration timing. For the time being, we just display the dummy text. Later we will update the design for us. Okay, so right after this, where is that? Right after that, volume controls. I think this is where that volume control is finishing. Okay, after that volume controls, we need to create the duration control. This is the duration of video. Okay, then I'm creating one more flex box for this, and for that also align items. I'm creating center, and then gap between, it's going to be 2. And inside here we are going to create a text box, and this text box, it's going to have font size as 16, and color, it's going to be white smoke. Okay, and here for the time being, I'm just typing 00, copy it, paste it. In this is just going to display slash, and this is going to display the 0.00. Let's go and verify. Look at that. So it's displaying the timing like this, so it's working good. Then next, what we need to do is, we need to bring our logo image. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to load our logo. If I go to the nav bar, we have our logo. So copy this nav logo from here, and let me go to the top, and let's import that logo right after here, and let's come over here right after this text flex, because this is where the flex is finishing. okay, because it's starting from here and finishing here. Right after here, we are going to load that image. This is the image is coming from showing not defined. Again the problem started. Image. Okay, it's loading the Chakra image. Now it's not showing error. Let's go and let's fill the image now. So image is going to load the src is equals logo. Then width is going to be 120 pixels. And the margin left, it's going to be auto. Save the changes. So it's load that image over here. Okay, so after that image, we are going to add one more icon. That icon is going to be MD full screen. Why it's not showing any suggestions? Close, refresh it. I'm not sure why it's not showing the suggestions. Let me close it here and open it again. Yeah, now it's showing suggestions. I don't know why. Full screen. Okay, MD full screen. Close this. And okay, so this is going to be font size is equals 30, and color it's going to be hatch F1 F1 F1. Cursor it's going to be pointer. Okay, and on click it should bring the video to the full screen, right? On click we need to make this to the full screen. For this, for the time being, I'm just keeping it as an simply empty callback function. Later we will implement this. Okay, so now we done with the overall layout over here. If I play it, video will play. If I click again, it will be paused. If I click this, it's playing. Mute is working fine, but this jumping to next 10 seconds, time seeking, it's not working over here also. And the video time duration and volume up and down and click event, this is not working fine. So we need to fix all these functionalities. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so now what we need to do is we need to fix these controls, because except this playing and mute functionalities, nothing is working. So we need to fix all those things. So let's get started with that. First, I'm going to start with this volume control. Okay, we are going to play with this volume control first. So let's go to our video pin details, open it. To monitor that, I'm going to create a new state. Use state snippet volume, set volume. Initially, it's going to set the volume as 0.5, means 50% of it. Okay, set it. And I'm going to create a new state to monitor all those things. So use effect. Create a new use effect. So you might have a question, is it possible we can have the multiple use effect? Exactly, we can have multiple use effect. This use effect will be rendered only if the video ID will be changed, and this use effect will be rendered only if there is any changes in the muted state, playing state, is playing, and if there is any changes is happening later. Okay, in that time only it's need to be rendered. So for the time being, is playing is not needed, so I'm just deleted it, muted. And I'm just going to check one more thing. In that state, we are going to render one more thing, that is our volume, because whenever the user adjusts the volume, it should adjust the timing also. So volume spelling wrong, volume. So whenever the user adjusting the volume, it should be re-rendered, right? So that's why we are using this. This will be re-rendered. And to monitor the volume, all those things, React player has a prop called volume is equals pass our volume state in it. Okay, and let's go to the slider. Where is our volume slider is? This is where our volume slider is. So if you go to the Chakra UI components, if you go to the props, complete props and the end, you can use the two methods over here: on changes start and on change end. When the change start, what you want to do, when the changes end, what you want to do, we are going to use these methods, and that is returning a number. So we are going to pass it that number, and we are going to adjust the volume according to that. Okay, so go through that documentation, that is really helpful for you. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to trigger those two events. So let's, after this here, on change start, I need to call this on volume change. Okay, on volume change, and then on change end is equals same function on volume change. So now we need to call this function. Let's go to the top and let's create a function to monitor that. Right after here, const on volume volume change, const on volume change, call this function, and that function will return an event, and we will capture the event, and let's console log that event. Save the changes. Let's go back to our console, open the console, video is opening, go to the console, clear the console. Now if I'm adjusting, you can see that we are getting that initially when it's starting, the console is printing as 77. Once I released, it's printing as 46. So we are getting this number. All we have to do, we need to pass this number, exact number, to our we need to pass this number to our what is that, our volume state. So we need to, what we have to do is, so I need to divide. Well, your volume will take only the percentages, not a number. So I need to convert it to a percentage. So we just need to divide it. So set volume, right? Set volume as, well, we need to pass it to a number. We need to pass that thing. So set volume, pass float, it's a decimal value, so pass to a float, divide that e by 100, given by 100. Okay, and we should set, if that value is equals to 0, we need to set it to muted also. So what I'm going to do is, if that value e is equals to 0, then set muted to true, else set muted as false. That's it. Save the changes. Now let's see whether it is working fine or not. Click it. It's working fine. See, it's reduced. If I click this, it's muted. If I'm adjusting it, it's playing it. So we successfully implemented the volume control, guys. It's superb. It's working perfectly as we wanted, right? So let's pass it now. Then what we have to do is, we are going to work on this particular control, moving 10 seconds and seeking 10 seconds forward and seeking 10 seconds backward. That's what we are going to do next. Okay, then, so now let's start implement this time seeking elements. So let's go here, and to do that, first what we need to do is we need to create a reference for our React player. So let's create a reference, and let's say player reference. We need to create this reference. So let's go to the top and right after the state management, and here let's say custom reference. So const player reference equals useRef. We are going to use the useRef hook to create a reference for that player reference, and then where we having that icon MD forward and backward, we having two different icons, right? Where it is MD, yeah, here, over here. On outline backward, we need to say on click, I'm going to trigger an event called handle fast rewind, and on click for forward, on click handle fast forward. So these are just a naming convention which helps me to understand what functionalities that function is doing. Okay, so use the proper naming conventions for your functions. So right after here, I'm going to create that function const handle fast rewind is going to have a function, and that function is going to have an element called, okay, it gives the state management. Okay, it gives a state, what state currently it is. I don't think so. This is not necessary for this. Okay, we'll see. Open it, and I'm going to create one more method, const handle fast forward is equals an arrow 6 function. Open it, and inside here we are going to get that player reference dot current. Okay, it has that player that's a React player have a method called seek2. Okay, we are going to use that seek2 method. The seek2 method will takes the number. Okay, React player, it will takes a number, that means in a seconds where you want to seek to. So I'm going to get the current time first. So using the player reference dot current, get current time, C capital, current time, T also capital, current time. This method will returns the current time of your player. From that current time, move 10 seconds. This is rewind, so minus 10 seconds. From the current times, move backward 10 seconds, and from the current time, move forward 10 seconds. Save the changes. Now it's loading. Okay, if I'm playing, if I click this, it will move forward 10 seconds. If I click this, it will move backward 10 seconds. Look at that. Actually, here you can't find that much difference. If I'm playing different video, you can see the difference. Let's open this one, play it. If I click this, see, if I click this, it's changing, right? So we successfully implemented this functionality. It's seeking that it's moving forward and backward. It's up and running perfectly, right? So what are the things we have done so far? We done with the play and pass. Volume up and down, it's working good, right? It's working good. And seeking forward and seeking backward, it's working good. All we have to do, work with this progress bar. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so next what we need to do is we need to fix this progress bar. So we need to do two things. When the video is playing, it's need to update automatically, and also we need to fix this seeking functionality of our video. That's really important because the user needs to skip some time and they wish to watch the video some fast forward or rewind sometimes. We need to fix that functionality. To do that, what you need to do is go to your video pin details, and first you need to create a new state to monitor that. So use state snippet played, set played. Initially it's going to set as 0. We are going to fix it as a 0, and for that seeking functionality we are going to create use state snippet seeking, set seeking as false. Initially it's going to false. Okay, then where all these functionalities are going to happen. That's what you need to do is go to your React player. In the React player, all we need to do is create there is a method, there is a hook called on progress. When there is a progress, we need to handle that progress. Handle progress. So let's go ahead and create this method. So let's go to the top, and right after this handle fast forward where we created, over there we are going to change the progress. Const handle progress is equals, so this will give the state. Okay, whenever the progress is changing, React player will throws a few state properties. Let's say console.log let's change state, save the changes, and let's open it, open the console log. Okay, so if I'm playing, see here, every second when the progress is updating, it's throwing a state. In that state, we having loaded state, loaded second state, played second state, right? We are going to get this played method and we are going to divide it, and we are going to convert it to a percentage, and we are going to multiply with it. So we are going to get the percentage value, because your slider need the percentage. Here it's having seconds. We need to convert it to percentage, then we need to pass it to our slider. That's what we are going to do now. Let's go back to our video pin. So now we know that it's happening whenever the state is changed, right? So we are going to use this played value. So let's go to the video pin, remove this. Okay, and the most important thing is when the progress is happening over here, if the user is trying to move, if you're trying to seek forward and backward, the state will not allows you to do what it will. Once you pushed it forward, again it will push back to the backward itself, because the state will update every second. So it's not allows the user to seek forward. So at that point, when the user seeking it, we need to pass it. We need to pass that seeking. Then we need to trigger again one more time. So it little bit confused, but I'll explain what I'm trying to explain to you. Okay, so here, if this progress should update only if the user is not trying to seeking. If the user not trying to seeking, you update. If trying to seeking, get that current time state. Okay, that's what we are going to do now. So if not seeking, set the played status as set played as parse float from the changed state. So we're having the changed state. In that changed state, you know that we're having this played item. So copy this played dot played, divide that played by 100 and multiply that result with 100. So this will return the percentage for us. Save it. Oh, here not double, here single. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to pass that played value to our slider, then only that progress will get updated. Let's see what we want to do. So let's go to the slider. Where is our slider? Over here. This is our slider. So here it's having the default value, right? It's having this default value where it is. One second, give me a second. Okay, so it's having this default value. Wait a second. I think we made a mistake in the volume, because initially it's loading the default value only. See, it is not loading the current volume. If you wish to change the current volume, what we need to do is in the slider, instead of this default volume, I think I failed to update this one. If this default value is 30, it always displays the 30 only. So this volume needs to be changed whenever we are adjusting that volume, right? So what we have to do is for the slider over here, we need to get that volume state. We will get that volume state, then multiply that state with 100. So now it should show that 0.5 percentage, right? Because initially we said that 0.5, that means 50 percentage. So now it's updating fine. Okay, cool. Let's go back to our slider progress. This is our slider progress. Over the slider progress, we having the value. So in this case, we can't update the default value. If you are trying to update the default value, it will throw an error. So I'm just going to delete this default value and I'm going to use the value prop. Okay, so delete the default value, use the value prop, and this value prop is going to update whenever the played status is going to get updated. So this played status we already included in the state. So this state will constantly, where it is here, it should be included here. Whenever the played status is changed, this will re-render it. So that will work fine. So currently nothing is played. If I click it, look at that. The state is updating now. The progress is updating. Cool, right? Now it's looking good. So what we can do is, and if we are trying to add some transition equals ease in, ease out, let's see what's happening. Nothing changes. If I add some transition delay, transition duration 0.1 second, um 0.2 seconds. I think we need to we add the same thing for slider thumb also. The slider thumb is also moving, right? So that much better now. Instead of sudden movement, this is much better now. Then what we can do is, but the problem is if I'm trying to seek through, see, I can't move it. It's not allowing. That's why I ask you to set that seeking state over there. So when the user trying to click and drag that progress, it needs to allow us. To do that, I'm going to add two different, I think most probably three different methods. On change, whenever the change is happening, I need to handle the seek change. This one method. On mouse down, whenever the mouse down, we need to call one more method called on seek mouse down method. On changes end, that means once the mouse down means, that means once the clicked, the state that seeks state should be true, right? That means if the seek state is true, the progress will not update. Once the changes is done, we need to change that seek state again. So on seek mouse up method, two different methods. So let's go to top where we having this handle progress. So right after that handle progress, we need to create that three different methods. Okay, so const handle seek change method, handle seek change equals, this will create sends an event, and we are going to set that plane. Whenever the seek changes it's happening, we need to pass that float current value into divided by 100. Okay, this will perfect work. Const. Okay, so let me check whether that is working or not. This method is showing error, so let's fix that. const on seek mouse down, not mouse. I think I made it mouse. It should be mouse. Let me change this to mouse. Mouse is equals. This will also throws an event. This time I'm going to say set seeking as true. Means if this is only if this set seeking is not true, only it will update the progress, otherwise it will not update the progress. If the set seeking is true, then the progress update will be stopped for that particular second. Once that mouse user release that mouse, we need to release the seeking state also. That means mouse up. Once the mouse is released, we'll get that event and we'll set that set seeking as false. So once that seeking start, this state will be stopped, and this will help the user to go to that particular seeking progress for the particular moment, and will get that current value and will set it to the played state. After here, we'll get that player reference again, current dot seek to functionality and e divided by 100, because once the progress is moved, that progress will be by using that reference, we'll get that player reference, because this will set the played state. The played state will take the video to that particular timing, and again we are getting that particular the timing, and we are updating that seek to information, because that once the player, it will update the timing only, the player will not move to that location. We need to use the seek to look method, then only that player will move to that particular time. Okay, so let's do that thing now. It's playing. If I click and drag, it's moving now. If I release it, it's moving to that location, right? If I click here, it's coming. If I'm clicking back, it's moving back entirely back. Look at that, it's working fine, right? Let me check with another video. Let's click this one, play it. If I click this, it's coming here. If I click this, it's going there. Actually, what is happening is when I click it, the video seeking will be paused. When the user clicks and drag, actually that seeking state is now passed. Once I released it, that's the player will get the current time, and we are passing that current time to the seek to method, and that seek to method will takes you to that particular video time frame. This is what exactly happening over there. Cool, right? So it's working perfectly as we are expected, so that video progress and everything is updated fine. Now all what we have to do, we have to update this particular timing duration. When the progress is playing, we need to get that video duration over here, and we need to update that played state. If I'm changing, it's need to change that one also. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so now let's start working on this current time and the video elapsed time. So let's move on to it. So let's open your video pin, and right after here, I'm going to create a variable called const current time. Const current time is equals, we are getting the player reference dot current. If there is player reference, if the player is available, get the player reference current timing dot current dot get current timing, get that current time. Okay, and if it is not, set that current timing to 00:00. Okay, save the changes, and we are going to get the elapsed time also. That means the played time, elapsed time. So we need to get the duration first. So const duration, that video duration, overall that video duration, player reference dot current. If that player reference is that, then get that player reference current dot get duration. This will help you to get the duration of that audio video. Then if it is not, set the durations to 0:00. Save the changes. Okay, and to calculate all these things, I'm going to create a function outside our component. This is where our component is finishing. Right outside here, I'm going to create a function called format. to calculate our video timing and all those things. So const format is equals seconds. We pass the time, what time we want to do. We'll pass the timing in the seconds inside this function. Okay, if it's showing us none is not a number, if it is showing is not a number, we are passing that seconds. If we are getting this an error, we should always return, because we need to handle it. Sometimes we will get this possibility, there are possibilities of that we will get this mistake. So we will, if you are getting is not a number, we will return this value, or else we'll start calculating it. Const date, we are going to get the date, new date, seconds start 1000. Okay, 1 second. So this date will return our hours, minutes, seconds, and everything. We are going to get one by one from that date. So const hour is equals date dot get UTC hours. Get UTC hours. That will return the hours if we have any hours. If sometimes video might be more than 60 minutes also, so that we need to figure it out how to get that. Then const minute is equals date dot get UTC minutes. That will get the minutes. Then const ss equals date dot get UTC seconds. And when it comes to seconds, we need to convert it to a toString, and then we need to get that only first 2 letters of that second first. That means after the dot we need to get only 2. So I'm going to use the pad start. So I'm going to get the length, first 2 length. If it is get that length and then append it with 0. Okay, we are going to fill that string with 0. Okay, if the seconds is like point, instead of displaying 0.25, 0.35, so 0.25, 0.35, something like that. Okay, then what we are going to do, if it is having hours, if it's having that video is more than 60 minutes, we need to return the format. We are going to return the format. So string literals, use the string literals, that means the backtick $hatch. Append the $hatch with $minutes, convert that minutes to toString, and use the exact same pad start, and after this, once it gets converted, after this join your seconds also, ss. If this is only if you are having hours, if you don't have hours, we need to return different. Return the minutes, and the seconds. Okay, so this will print the time as 01 and 02 colon 32 seconds, something like this in this format, and this will return in this format, 02 colon 35 seconds. That means 2 minutes 35 seconds. This is what we are trying to print over there. Okay, so now let me remove this comment, or I'll just keep it for your better understanding what exactly happening over here. So now I need to use this format method to get the exact elapsed time and the total duration in the format what we are expecting. So right after here, I'm just going to create elapsed time. This is the time which it's playing. Then format that current time, because we have that play, whenever the player is playing, it will get the current time, and that current time will be passed to this elapsed time, and it will be monitored, because the played state will be monitored by your use effect, because we already entered that played state over here. So this will be re-rendered every single time, so it will work fine. And const total duration is our final duration. Format that with duration seconds. Then where we want to print, we want to print this information in over here. Okay, that's what we are going to display that information. So first we need to display the elapsed timing. This is the played time, elapsed time, and this is the total duration. Save the changes. Now once the video is start playing, it will display the total duration, and look at that. If I click it, it will get that current state. If I click here, it will get that current state, and it's updating, guys. It's working totally fine. So we successfully implemented that we successfully implemented that video total duration and time elapsed functionalities. Okay, so next what we are going to do is we are going to implement this particular full screen mode. Okay, if you click this, it should bring the full screen. That's what we are going to do next. If we fix that, then our video player is good to go. Okay, then, so to fix this full screen mode, what the package I'm going to use is I'm going to use the package called Screen Full. If you search for Screen Full, this is what we are going to use. This is the npm which we are going to use. So this will support all kind of browser, and it will use this whenever the user clicks that, it will makes that video completely full screen mode. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. So I'm going to use this package. So copy this, and then we are going to open our video pin details, open the terminal, and right click and paste it here. So that will install that Screen Full package. Okay, so that's installing now. It's taking okay, now it's successfully installed. Now what we need to do is, where is our main container? So if you go to our, just a moment, if you go to your main container, where is our main container is getting started? Our main container is getting started over here. This is our video player container. So for this, I'm just going to create a reference called player container, because we need to make that entire player container full screen. Okay, then only we can see that controls also. That's why. Then I need to create a user reference over here. Where is that user reference? We already created over here. Const player container is equals use ref. Open it. Save the changes. Always define the use ref after your state management. That is the proper way. Otherwise, sometimes it will throw an issue. Okay, now let's go back to our icon where we are setting our full screen mode. Over here, this is where we are setting our icon, the full screen mode. For that icon, I'm going to add quite a functionality. Like what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use the seek screen full method. What is that? Screen full, this one, screen full dot toggle player container, the player container reference which I created dot. That's all you need to do. If I go back to our application, okay, so now if I click it, look at that, now our video is in the full screen. If I click that, it will move back to the normal screen. Let's have a look at this, guys. So we successfully implemented all the functionalities what we are expecting. If I play this, this will play. This doesn't have any audio, and if I seek to it, it will seek to that timing. See, it's moving, and if I pass it, it's passing. If I click this, it will take into the next 10 seconds. It's completely working fine. Okay, so actually this overall video timing is 0.8 seconds only. That's why it's moving to the end. Let's move to this video. It's having the sound. If I increase it, it's increasing the sound. If I'm decreasing it, it's decreasing. If it is too close, it's muted. If I seek to it, the time is updated and the video is also started seeking. If I click here, the time is also get updated, and this functional is also working. Cool. And if I click here, it will expand it to full screen. If I click back again, it will come back to the normal screen. Look at that, guys. We successfully implemented that functionality. Okay, So all we have to do now, we need to focus on this functionalities. We need to get this user informations to display here, and we need to display the description. We need to display the recommended videos. So that's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so now what we need to do is we need to fix this this description over here and this user information. Then later we move on to the recommended videos. Okay, so let's go and fix that. Let's open your video pin details, and where we are, our video player is finishing. So this is where our video player is getting started. So right, and that video player will be finishing here. So right after here, we need to get that description from the data what we having in our hand. So we need to render this only if we are having that description. If you don't have that description, we are not supposed to render it. So this is video description. Okay. So I'm checking video info. If the video info have the description field, go to Firebase, click here, copy this, and dot description. If the video description is there, then render it. What we want to render, we want to create a flex. Okay, and inside this flex, this is going to be margin top 6, direction column, and inside here I'm just going to create a text, and this text is going to margin top, let's say 2, and font size as 25, font weight semi bold, description right after this text. Okay, so if I'm directly, see here, if I am directly passing this video info dot description, see what's happening. See, it's printing that HTML as a HTML. I need to parse all these HTML code into a normal string. So to do that, what we are going to do is we are going to use the HTML React parser. HTML React parser, this particular package. So this package, it's really useful. You just need to pass that strings and what are the options you need to it. Very straightforward, right? So let's copy it and go to your video pin, open the terminal and install that one, HTML React parser. So that will really helpful for converting our descriptions into a normal string. So we need to parse that HTML code. So let's go back here and then let's use that method. We'll cut this and I'm using the HTML React parser, open it and then paste it here. So this will parse all the content into a normal string. Look at that. So we having that description over here. So let's go back here. Let me open this. So this one doesn't have a description, so it's not showing that. If I go this, look at that, showing the description. I didn't add anything, any big description or anything else. Nope. Rain. Okay, so it's displaying the description how we want to display it. So I hope it's working perfectly. Then we will fix this user information. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to fix this user information. So let's go to here and it's displaying the user informations and all these things. So actually we need to fetch the user who uploaded this video, right? Inside this video we having the user ID. So where we are fetching the user information, we are fetching the user information over here. So we are getting the user specific information. Once the video or user information is fetched, okay, once the user information is fetched, we need to fetch the that user informations also in through that video ID. We need to inside that we having that video, so we need to get that information. So right after here we need to write that code. Okay, what code? In the fetch data we already written the get specific user information over here. We are going to use this method, so copy it and paste it here, open it and import that one. It will need the Firestore DB instance, give that instance. Then it will need the user ID. So data has that user ID, this data dot user ID. What is that field name? I forgot. User ID. Copy this user ID and give it to our function data.user ID. So that will return a promise, and that promise is our user. Open it, and we need to create one more state to store our user information. So use state snippet user info, set user info initially null. Then we will set that user info over here, set user info over here as the user. Okay, save the changes. So this will fetch the user information, and now we have that user information in the user info state. We already know that that function will work perfectly, so we don't need to worry about it. Okay, so if that is the user information, what I want to do, if that is user information, then I want to render something. If only this should be rendered only if that who uploaded that user information. If the video is uploaded, means definitely some user ID will be inside there, so we don't need to worry about it. Anyway we will render it user info. If that is user info, then render these components. So I'm going to say flex and direction. It's going to be column direction, and it's going to use the width as complete full width as full width. Inside this flex I'm going to create one more flex, and that flex is going to align items center and width full. Inside here we are going to load that image, image, and this image is nothing but we already have that image somewhere, where we have, I think, inside the video pin, I think so. Let me copy this from here, copy it, and then I will paste it here. And along with that we need to fetch the avatar also from the video pin, because if the user doesn't, if it doesn't have any video image, we need to solve that one also. Const avatar and save the changes. Now if I go and verify, it's showing BG is not there. What BG? Okay, it's a color mode. I think it's having that color mode. Yeah, here it is. We don't need this. And increase the width to 60, and also we don't need this border, we don't need this margin top, we'll remove it. Rounded full and all those things, it's working fine. User info, okay. And I'm just fixing a minimum height, it's going to be 60 pixel, and minimum width, it's going to be 60 pixels. Let's update this minimum height in our video pin also. Where is our video pin? For the video pin image also we update these two informations, minimum height and the width 50 pixels, and here also 50 pixels. Save the changes. Let's have a quick look. It's showing video pin detail BG is not defined. Actually I removed it, right? Then where is it coming from? Oh, come on. From line number 355. I removed it. Yeah, it's showing now. So now it's showing that picture. If I go back here, if I click this one, see, it's loading that picture. Look at that. So it's working perfectly, guys. Whew. Then what we need to do, we need to display after this image, we need to display the user name. So right after here, create one more flex box. Okay, so that flex is going to have the direction as the column direction. As a column direction, and from the margin, it should take margin left as 3, and inside this, it's going to take flex and align items in the center, and the text. Okay, text, I think somewhere I use the text same. I'm just going to copy the text. I think top. Here it is. Copy it. Paste it here. Save the changes. And not video title. And width. We don't need to give the width. Remove it. Remove it. And the color. No need to worry about the color. And then here, user info question mark dot display name. That's the field name. Let's verify it. So that's displaying the user name over there. Cool. Let's go back here. If I click this, what's the name for this? That's also my name only. Okay. I thought I'd given a different name for it. Okay, so it's working fine. And then now what we need to do, we need to right after here, we need to display one icon. That means it's an approved user. Like that. So for that, FC approval. FC approval. It's an icon. No worries. We'll import that icon. Go to top. It's not detecting automatically. Where is the React icons? Over here. Import this FC approval from React icons / FC. Save the changes. Now you can see that FC icon over here. Look at that. That's the icon. Okay, so it's displaying that icon. Then what we need to do is right after this flex, this flex after here, we need to display quite when this video gets uploaded. This video. So we need to display that information. So what we need to do is if the video info question mark means if the video info it's having that, if the video info is that, if the video info is having that ID, we will render it. Actually, it's not necessary, but it's better to do it. Then we already have that moment in our video here. We're just using the same thing. Copy it and then open the text and fix the font size as 12 and paste it inside here, but this time not data.id, videoinfo.id. Save the changes, and now you should see that something is wrong. Refresh it. Moment. Yeah, I didn't import it. Save the changes. I think my network is disconnected. No, something is wrong. Yeah, it's working. Oh no, my machine gets hanged up a little bit. That's why. So now it's showing 3 hours ago. See, it's working perfectly. If I go here, if I choose this one, yeah, everything is 2 hours, 3 hours ago. This is 2 hours ago. So it's working perfectly, guys. So our information is displaying over there perfectly. So next, what we need to do, we need to display two different buttons for the users. If I click here, you can see that it's having these two different button for the users to delete and free download. So we need to fix that one. So let's go and fix that one. That's it, and that our user information is done over there so far. Okay, so then what we need to do is we need to bring up that this flex box over here, right after here. This is the action buttons. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to create one more flex, and justify the content. Okay, justify the content. You can use space between or space evenly, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to say space around, and margin top 6. Okay, so I need to display this. When I need to display this button, that delete button, only if the signed in user and the uploaded user of this video both are same, I need to display that video icon, or else I'm not supposed to display that video, that delete button icon over there, right? To do that, what we need to do is I need to check it. If the user info dot uid, if the user info dot uid is equals to, we need to get the local user informations also, right? To get the local user information only, we have this fetch user method, so we are going to use that one. So go to top, and while rendering over here, right after this dv, const local user, that will returns an array. So we are destructuring it to an array. Local user is equals fetch user from the utils method. We are getting that, and then I'm checking over at the end if the local user dot id is local user uid, dot uid, and display this. That means from the video we are getting the user info, that user id, and from the local browser history we are getting the signed in user information. If both id are same, display this delete button. That's what we are going to do. Okay, so for delete button, if you have a look at it, for the time being I'm just displaying the delete button for now. Let's say IO trash. Font size 20. Save the changes. That will display this icon. If I go here, this is not same. See, that button is not displaying. Cool, right? It's working fine. But if you have a look at it, if I click this, it's displaying this nice confirmation box. So we need to check, we need to work on that particular action. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so now let's fix this confirmation tag for our delete. So what we need to do is go to the Chakra UI and search for pop over. Search for that pop over. So you can find quite a nice designs over here. If you click it, it will brings this. And also with that, we have the confirmation actions also. For instance, if I click this, see, we can see these two different buttons. So what we can, if you click that, what you want to do, what you need to do, that's what we are going to design. Okay, so let's go and design that. It's a quite big one. Let's start with our basic design. Okay, so we are going to use this, copy this, go to our program, and instead of displaying like this, what we need to do is we'll delete it for the time being. Open this bracket, enter, and here we will display that popover. Instead of this button, I'm going to display that IO trash icon. Okay, and that should be sorry, instead of the text, this trigger text, I'm going to display that IO trash, like this, IO trash. If you don't wish to display it as a button, you can display it as a division itself. Just use the box over there. Let's import all these necessary packages. Pop over content, pop over close button, pop over header, pop over body tag, save the changes, and let's go back here. It's showing pop over arrow error, where it is, here it is. Save the changes, and now let's go to the video content. We're having this button. If I click this, it brings that nice design over here. If you don't want this button UI, you can change that one. That's up to you, but I'm just going to keep it as it is. I'm not going to delete it. I don't want to change it, but I'm just going to change the color and all those things. Okay, so color scheme, I'm just going to use the red color. So here, use the color scheme as red, and padding both X and Y axis, I'm going to use I don't think so, we don't need this. Save the changes. Look at that. So now let's go and change the color of our icon. For the color, font size, so let's say font size is 20. Okay, and then what we need to do is, just a moment, and then we need to change the color. Let's say white color, #FF. Save the changes. Look at that. If I go here, look at that, it's working fine. Then go back to our code. We need to do some customization. Instead of confirmation, do you want to delete your video? Save the changes, and here, are you sure you want to okay, let's keep this confirmation as it is, confirmation. Are you sure you want to delete it, like that? Okay, and then if you go back to the we have this footer. Where is that footer? With this design, not this one. With this design, we're having this nice footer. We need that footer. Yeah, this is that footer. Copy this, and then where did this, after the body content, after this body content, paste it, implement that one also, implement it, button group, and the button, we already have it. Save the changes. Now if I go here, if I click it, I have this cancel and apply. Okay, I don't need this cancel, because if we have that X mark, and if you press the escape button, it will close. So if I need yes, if it is yes, what I want to do, that's what we are going to define. And this popover should be close on escape. So on close, close on, yeah, close on escape. Save the changes. If I open it, if I press escape button, it will be closed. Okay, so here if I click yes, it will be deleted. That's what we are going to do now. So to delete it, what we need to do is, we already did that in our create pin. If you go to your create pin, create JSX, over here we did that delete functionality, right? Once the video is loaded, where is that delete action, delete, we created that. category, input group, file selection. Wait a second. IO trash. Here it is. This is that IO trash. On click, we delete that image. This is that function. We need to call this function. We need to delete it. We are going to use this functionality. Okay, so what we need to do is we are going to delete that video. Okay, so I'm going to make this video as a reusable function. So let's go to the fetch data, and right after here, copy this, type the exact command over here. Sorry, type the exact code what I copied and pasted here. Delete video is a function. Pass the database instance and video ID, and delete doc will delete that complete video from that collection. Okay, so save the changes and let's go back to our video pin detail. And in the video pin details, what we need to do is we need to create a function to do that. And what I'm going to do for this red button, where we are having this for this button. Okay, so for this button, on click, I'm calling a callback method, delete video. This is that method we are going to, this is a method, that method will be called over the delete the video. And to this video, I'm just going to pass a video ID, which we are having it from the Google, that use parameter. We are passing that. And now I need to create this video ID, where right after all these functionalities, right after here, I need to create that one. Const, paste it, equals that. It's taking the video ID as a parameter, and set is loading as true. Okay, then delete video. Where is it? Delete video. This is that video. To this method, we need to pass that Firestore DB instance, and we need to pass that video ID. So this will delete that video. Once this deleted, we are navigating. Set is loading. We need to navigate the user. Navigate. We need to create that one, right? So let's go to top, and where it is, right after here, const navigate is equals use navigate hook from React router DOM, and we are going to navigate that user to a specific URL. Navigate user to the home screen, replace is equals true. Save the changes. Now let's try to delete this video. Delete dog is not defined. Okay, I understood. Delete dog is not imported. Save the changes. Now this problem will be solved. Okay, let's go back here. What is the video I'm having 2 times? Okay, I'm having this video 2 times. Let's open it. If I click this, it's asking me to confirm. If I click this, it's loading, and look at that. That video is deleted. So we successfully implemented the delete functionality, and only one more thing we need to display over there. That's the download button, right? Like this download button. Let's go ahead and do that one. Okay, go to the video pin details, and after this delete icon, what we need to do, we need to display that download button functionality. So where is our popover is ending? Our popover is ending right after here. So here I'm going to create an anchor tag. Okay, and that anchor tag is going to say href, and this href I'm going to pass the video info URL. I'm going to pass that video URL, and I'm going to say this is a download option. Download. We need to enable this. Okay, and we need to stop this propagation also. It should start propagate. It should simply download it. So we are going to say stop propagation. So if we don't do this, this will reload the entire page. So we don't want that. So we are stop propagating that. Then I'm going to say this button, copy and paste it. So I'm just created this button over here. Okay, so let me delete it. We'll go here and look at that. We have that button over here. If you wish to take this width as a complete full width, you can also free to use that take as a full width also. So I'm okay with that. Let's say, let me try something different over here. Wait a second. Go here. Where is our grid system? Our grid system is starting here. We will make it 4, and this take 3 columns, and this grid, where is this grid is starting? This grid will take 1. Save changes and let's see what is happening. No different, not much. What? Let's go back here. Yeah, sorry, here, refresh it. Let's go back here. Look at that. I think this is pretty much good, right? Instead of having 3 and 2, actually this is looking much better than that, right? Our video is also looking much bigger, and this is more than enough. Let's go back to our this user ID. So now you can see that it's showing this download and free download functionalities. Okay, so this is doesn't have that description. Look at that, it's looking good. So all we have to do next, we have to bring that recommended video. We need to bring this recommended videos. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so we successfully implemented this download and the delete action. So the delete action is working fine, but we never checked the free download functionality. If you click this, it will loads it, and look at that, it's showing to download that video. So the user can download that video instantly now. So the download button is also working fine. So next what we need to do is we need to display these recommended videos just like this, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new JSX, create and say recommended videos.jsx. Okay, RAFC, save changes and go to your feed. I'm going to use the same style, so copy this and then paste it here. Okay, and the packages also we need to import everything, not everything. So let me copy all of this and then paste it here. We are not going to use this Firestore Database. Okay, and yeah, all these things, we need all these things. Save changes. Is it throwing any error? No, it's not throwing any error. So recommended video.jsx is now ready. Let's go back to the video pin.jsx, and what we need to do is right after your grid, after here, okay, and we need to get the feeds. Okay, we need to get the feeds. For feeds, I'm just going to set state to monitor that. So go back here, where it is use state over here. Let's say use state snippets feeds, set feeds. It's going to be null. Okay, if it's have the feeds, if there is feed, any feed, if feeds and open it, we need to say flex. Okay, so that flex direction is going to be column. It should take the complete width. Okay, and inside this I'm just going to say display a text called recommended text, and right after that we are going to display the recommended feeds, and that recommended feeds, it's taking the feed state. Okay, so save the changes, close it, open it again. It's not showing the suggestions anything. it will throw an error right now. Yep, because we need to import the recommended feeds. Right after here, import recommended videos. Oh god, it's recommended videos, huh? Copy this at the end, paste it here. Recommended videos it is. That's why it's not showing the suggestions. Recommended videos, and it's showing feeds is not defined. Why now? Feed, we already defined the feeds. Feeds. Why it's showing that feeds is not defined? I created the state, right? Where it's that thing? Come on, why it's constantly showing the errors? Refresh it. Line numbers 16 and 18. Where it's showing recommended videos? Okay, here, feeds. That's what I'm thinking. Error is coming from there. I cleared that error. Yeah, now that error is fixed. Okay, so recommended videos is fixed, but the videos, how we are going to get that recommended video feeds? So we need to fetch except this video ID. I need to fetch all the video from the Firebase console. That's what we are going to do. Let's go here. Let's go to the fetch data. Okay, so in the fetch data, what we need to do is we need to write a coding to fetch all the details except that particular ID. So that's what we are going to do. So let me go to get specific video over here. Just like get all the feeds, we are going to copy this and right here get recommended feeds, paste it here, and that's going to be the recommended feeds. And it's going to take quite a few properties over here. We need to get the category, because we are not supposed to get all the videos. We need to get only the video which is in that specific category, right? In that specific category, except that video ID, we need to fetch all the things. Okay, so videos, and we are going to apply the where conditions. So where we need to apply the where conditions is right after here, comma, enter where category. What is that video category is going to be? If the category is equals to, if the category is equals to that category ID, whatever I'm passing with the category ID, and if the ID of that video, it should be not equal to, that means except that ID, fetch all the video ID. Okay, so this will return except that particular information. Okay, so go ahead and type all these informations. Once it's done, now let's see what we can do with that. Let's go back to our video pins detail. So where we are getting our category information, we are getting our category information over here, right? Because this data is having our category information, and in the URL parents we having that video ID information. So right after here, recommended feeds, this will take Firestore DB as an instance, and data dot category and video ID as the third parameter. It will returns the promise, will capture that feeds or data, or no, your data is already in use. and let's say it is a feed, open a bracket. So set feeds, each one by one feed will be set to your set feeds. Now if I go back here, still there is no category in this video, I think so. I think let me choose this one. This is also different. Let me upload one more thing. So let's upload. Let me verify what are the, I'm not sure what are the categories are there. Mountain, guitar, category music, nature, animals, games, nature, animals. We having 2, so that means it's supposed to work. I think then we are getting error something. Yes, we are. Yeah, here we go. This is where the error is coming from. We need to create the 2 different indexes. Actually, it's showing an error. So what's the problem is, because Firebase maintain every single object inside has a different unique indexes. So whenever you're using where condition, you need to apply some index, then only it will work, otherwise it will not work. So go ahead and create the both indexes. First, let's click that first link. First, it's asking to create an index for your category, so let me create that index. So this will take quite a minute, 1 or 2 minutes. So click this one, and this will ask you to create one more index, that is for our same index is already being built. Okay, it's already building over here. So this will take quite a few minutes, so we need to wait until it gets done. So once it's done, only we can fetch that information. So because we are trying to fetch the information through category, right? Through the category, we are trying to fetch that information. So it will take quite a few minutes to do all these functionalities. So let's wait until it's getting done. The status is getting done, and let's have a look what else we need to do. And if you have a look at here, it's filtering the details by using the category. If I click here, it's filtering the details according to that category. Games, yeah, see, it's having that video. Funny, it doesn't have, and it's showing this nice not found application, not found SVG. So we need to do that one also. We need to do that one, and we need to implement our user profile. We need to implement our user profile and the logout button and this category. Once it's done, we are good to go. So if this status is building completed, we can check whether it is working fine or not. Let's go here and go to the indexes and let's verify. Still it's building. Come on, make it fast. So once this is done, we are good to go, but it's taking quite a while. So I don't know why. It's usually took 1 or 2 minutes. Let me close this here. Okay, so let it finish. Let the index, it will take some time to do all those things. And now what we can do is we will implement this logout functionality. Let's go and implement that logout functionality in the meanwhile. Open your navbar. Where is the navbar.jsx? Over here. And where is that logout functionality? For this menu item, I'm just going to add an on-click event. On-click, and this is going to call a callback function. Through that callback function, I'm going to say local storage dot clear. If the local storage is clear, then it's successfully logged out. Okay, so let's verify it whether it's working fine or not. Refresh it. If I click this, if I click, nothing is happening. Oh, and I need to, it's cleared. Local storage is cleared now, and it's loading the sign in page. Actually, it's working fine. But the problem is, what we need to do is, once you click that logout functionality, we need to reroute the user to that particular login screen. Then only it will move to that thing. So right after here, navigate. We don't have that state, so we need to go to top, const navigate from use navigate from React router doc. Use navigate, copy this, paste it here, navigate the user to login/login, then replace the URL as true, save the changes. Now if you click here, that will be clear that local storage, and it will reroute the user to the login screen. What happened to this button? This button is not working fine. Let's go and fix that button. Login. What happened to that button? Color. Okay, color. I didn't give that color. Color is equals hash f1 f1 f1. Yeah, look at that. Now it's fixed. If I click here, now it will opens and will takes me to that particular home screen. So now we successfully implemented the login screen, and let's have a look whether our index is successfully built or not. Look at that, our index is enabled now. So let's go back here to the animals. Now it should display the recommended videos. Look at that, guys, it's showing the recommended videos. Okay, so except this particular video, it will shows that recommended videos. If I go to the nature, anything else, see, it's showing that recommended videos. If there is no recommended videos, it doesn't display that recommended videos. Oh, we need to display this, remove this title also. Bugs happening, bugs, video pins, go to the end. It is not supposed to display here, right? But it's showing. How come it is possible? What is this? I'm getting confused. It is not supposed to display the inspect console log. Refresh it. It's not supposed to display that recommended videos, but why it's displaying that? Because if it is conditional rendering means let me keep this thing in our recommended videos over here. Save the changes. Refresh it. It's taking quite a while to do all those things. Text is not defined. I was expecting that. Chakra UI, save the changes. Come on. Still it's showing. If I click this, it's showing that recommended videos. It's not supposed to be here. It is supposed to be there only. Why? Initially we set that feeds to null only, right? So set feeds to feed. Okay, so it's working. I'm not sure why it's displaying that. So maybe let's stop the server and we will check one more time. Run the server again, npm run start. This will restart our server. Come on, it's taking too long. Maybe my machine is getting stuck a little bit. Yeah, my machine gets slower. It's been running so long, that's why I think so. Come on. It's taking more than time I'm expecting. Let me close this. Yeah, now only it's deprecating. It's too slow, my machine get too slow. Starting development server. Yep, it's fired up. It's loading our local host. Come on. I don't know why it's taking this much of time. Maybe because of my machine only, I think so. Yeah, it's loading. So go here. So the recommended videos is working fine and the download button, everything is working fine as we expected. So next what we need to do is we need to work on this user profile. When we click this, we need to go and work on this user profile. This, when I click this my account, it should take me to that, just like here. So we need to go and update that, go open the navbar and my account. Where is that my account? So link this to your user profile. Where is the video pin details? No, video pin here. This is what we need. The copy this and go to the navbar, paste it here, but here we need to get, instead of user id, user.uid, we have that field. Now if I click here, something is happening. Changes, everything is happening now slow. Maybe it's because of my machine, it's became too slow. That's why I think so. It's taking too long to load the changes and everything. I think I need to restart my machine once, or I need to clean my RAM memory and everything. Inspect. Reading null UID. Yep, now it's fine. If I click here, it will takes me to that particular ID. Look at that, it's working fine. So our navbar is successfully fixed. Next we are going to work on our user profile. That's what we are going to do next. Okay then, so now let's start customizing the user profile. if you have a look at here, this user profile, it's having this nice image banner, and along with this all the videos which is uploaded by the user, right? So let's go there and let's do that thing. Let's go to our user profile.jsx, and here let's start creating that informations. Okay, so we need to create quite a few information. So it's loading. So first we need to create a use state snippet. It's loading. Pause. If this loading is true, we need to return. If it's loading, we need to return the spinner. Okay, it's loading the details, so it should return that spinner. Okay, then otherwise it's going to return a flex box. So I'm just going to copy and paste that code over here. So that flex box, and I can close that flex box. Nothing but the same plain old flex box code. That's it. Okay, and inside this again I'm going to create a same flex box, just like the same flex box. That's also I'm going to copy and paste it. Okay, and inside here, then what we need to do is you need to create the image. We need to fetch the random image, random banner image. So to get that random banner image, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Unsplash source API. Okay, so we are going to use the Unsplash source API. I'm going to fetch the random image by using the source.unsplash.com, 1600 into 900 pixels, and these are the queries I'm going to use. So this will return me random image, and I'm going to use that random image over here. If I save it, this is how it will looks with error. So what are the two things? Image is not imported, Chakra UI, and use state is throwing error. Save the changes. It's not updating quickly. Save the changes. I save. Yeah, look at that. So now it's loading that picture. Okay, so then what we need to do is we need to load quite a few informations after that. Next, I need to load my user information. After here, I need to get my user info.photo URL. Through that ID, I'm going to fetch that user informations, right? So to do that, I need to get the Firestore DB information. So right after here, I'm going to get that Firestore database instance from get Firestore method, and I need Firebase app also. So I'm going to create a new user state, use state, user info, set user info. It's going to initially it's going to be null, and I'm going to get the use state. Okay, so use state, use effect, open it. Inside this use effect, it's going to be past that dependencies, and that dependency is going to have that user ID. So to get the first, you need to get the user ID. So const user ID from use params. This is from React router. We having the user ID in the URL. We are getting that user ID. Whenever the user ID change, re-render it. Okay, so set loading. I'm going to set the loading as true. If user ID is there, if there is a user ID, then get the user info. Get user info from fetch data, which we already having. Pass the Firestore database instant, and then pass the user ID to it. That will returns the promise. We will have that user information. Then we will set that user information to our user info. Set user info to our user, which we are getting through that. Then we will set loading as false. Save the changes. Now look at that, we're having that information. If I refresh it, it's loading, but spinner is not working. Why? it's looking different. Oops, I forgot the return statement, return spinner. Now it should refresh. Yeah, it's working. Okay, so it's successfully working. Then what we need to do, we need to go back here, and after that image, we need to get all the feeds of our user stored video. So let's go back and get all the user created video. That's it. That's what we are going to do now. So let's go back to the fetch data. So get all the feeds, copy this, and right after here, user uploaded videos, and paste it, and this user uploaded videos. And what we are going to do, we are going to write only one where condition over here. So right after here, I'm going to create a where condition, where. Okay, so that is going to be the user ID, where the user ID. Okay, because in that we having this user ID for each and every video, having that user ID, this user ID. If this user ID is equals to the user ID, which I'm going to pass it over here to this method, then fetch the details in the descending order, and it will display that detail. So this method will give that information, and we need to load this information in our profile. Where is our user profile? So right after this, I need to get that information also. So instead of setting loading here, I will set load here, delete it, and then user uploaded videos, pass the Firestore DB and pass the user ID. That will return then feed, set that feed to the feeds. So let's say use state snippets feeds, set feeds equals null. This will return that. So set feeds over here, it's going to be feed, save it. Now we have that feeds. All we have to do exactly what we did for recommended videos. So copy from where we added that video pin details, where it is. We added the recommended video here, right? So let's copy that, copy this, and we will paste it in our right after this flex box. Okay, so save the changes, it might work fine. And this time I don't need this text, all I need is recommended videos. So save these changes. This time it's not going to load the recommended videos, it's going to load the feeds which is uploaded by the user, which is matching that user ID. Save date, come on. It's not displaying anything. It's showing the index error again because we are creating the query. This time we are fetching the details by using the ID, right? User ID. So it will ask us to create the index again. We created the index for category. This time we are creating the index for user ID. So this will create the index for user ID. So this will take quite a few minutes. So let it take that time. Let's go and fix that category information. So when we are filtering, this filtering is not working for the time being now. What we need to do for what this filter is, we need to apply that filter. So how we can apply that filter? Let's go here. So just a moment. So where we are doing all these things, those things are doing in the feed section, right? So we need to get the category wise feeds. So when I click that, see what's happening when I'm clicking it. It's giving that category in the URL. So let's go back to our feeds. Let's open the feed. Here only we are loading that feeds and everything. So we need to get that URL from the URL params. I need to get that category ID. So I'm going to get that category ID from the URL params. So let me import that URL params. Then what I'm going to do is, if there is the category ID, if there is category ID, then we need to get that, else get all the feeds. So I'm just going to push this inside here. If there is category ID, I need to get the category wise details. So I go to the fetch data, open the fetch data. Inside that fetch data, we need to get the category wise feeds. So category wise feeds, we need to get the category wise feeds. So what we need to do is, here just like this, copy this, and then here category wise feeds, save it and paste it. So instead of this recommended feed, change this to category feeds, and this is not needed. Video ID is not needed, only needed category ID only. That will get all the docs which is matching the category ID. So this will return that particular information. That's it, simple. Then we'll go to the feed again. From what we need to do, we just need to send that category, use that category feeds, pass that Firestore DB, then pass that category ID which we get from the URL parameters, then that will return the data. Get that data and set that data to set feeds, to use your data to that set that feeds, then set loading to false. Save the changes. Now let's go here. Look at that, it's having games. That's why it's showing the games. If I go to movies, nothing there. So we need to fix that. If I go to funny is also nothing have. Nature, if I go to animals, something is not responding, guys. I don't know why it's not responding. Maybe it's because of my something is problem with my machine now. I don't know why. What's the problem? Yeah, it's working, but what's the problem is it's not re-rendering. I understood why it's not re-rendering. It should re-render whenever the category is updated. That is not problem in my machine. Problem is in my brain. Okay, so now it's re-rendering. So anime, it doesn't have any feeds. If I go to games, it's having. If I go to animals, it's having. If I go to anime, it doesn't have. So if there is nothing, then we need to load something else. We need to say that that feed is not over there. For that, I'm going to create a new JSX called not found.jsx. Inside this not found.jsx, what we are going to load is, we are going to load the RAFCE. We having an SVG in our image. Initially I given that SVG. We are going to load that one. So let me copy that information and paste it inside here. Copy it and then paste it. This is what we are going to do. Width, full, justify center, align center, and we are going to load that SVG and we are going to say text not found. Let's import all these packages. Chakra UI, and we need to load this image also. Copy this and paste it here. Save the changes. So this will load that image now. And what we need to do is we need to use it, then only it will load. Go to feed.jsx. How to find out that? After here, we need to check one more thing. if this feeds, if not the feeds dot, okay, if the feeds length is not greater than dot length, length, if the feeds length is not greater than 0, then return not found JSX. Let's go and verify. Say the changes. It's showing error. Okay, undefined. So we need to, because initially when the feeds is loaded, it will always be null only. That's why it's showing that error. Let me remove this. Go here. Go to the home screen. It's loading. If I click animals, it's loading that. If I click music, it's loading music. If I click nature, it's having nature also. Funny, look at that. Now it's loading that not found. Let's go and check whether the status, now you can see that status is also enabled. Now let's go back, go here and click the user profile. Look at that, it's displaying all the videos which is created by the user. And if you go here, click that user, see, so now we successfully implemented these recommended videos and this user uploaded videos. Along with that, we created this, we enabled this category wise search functionality also. So we successfully did all these things. Okay, then, so all we know what to do, we just need to upload this project to our Firebase. So let's go to our project in our Firebase control and go to the hosting and make sure that hosting is enabled. Okay, so if you're not install the Firebase tools and all those things, you need to install all these things and you need to log into your Firebase account. Then you need to run this command and then you need to run the Firebase deploy. That's all you need to do. So what I'm going to do is, let me open here and let me initialize that Firebase init, that will initialize the Firebase. Okay, so this will load your Firebase over here and click proceed. So before initializing, so let's proceed. It's click enter, and then what you need to do is we need to choose this hosting and configuring files. So click this. Okay, oops, we need to press the space bar, so my bad, I pressed enter instead of space bar to select it. So select that option, host configure files and Firebase hosting option. So select that one, press space bar. Now that function is selected, press enter. So use an existing project. So in our case, our project name is video blog YT, where it is this one, video app. What is our project name? Wait a second, video app YouTube YT, that's our project name, video app YT YouTube. Enter. So instead of public directory, use the build directory, because we are going to build our project. Build. You want to rewrite all the, no. Do you want to set automatic deploy? No. So now it's done. Now what we need to do, we need to build our project. So run npm run build. So this will build our build directory in our folder. Look at that, it's building the build directory. So inside the build directory, it contains all the minimized version of our documents, minimized version of our JavaScript files and everything. So this might take a while, so let it finish all these things. So it's loading, it's loading. So this might take a while, so please be patient until it gets done. So because it's trying to build all the files and everything, so it will take a while. So we'll please wait until it finish this optimized production build. So it's done. Now what we need to do is we just need to deploy it. So run the command Firebase deploy. That's all. So now from now onwards, whenever you have made any changes in that, you just need to run Firebase deploy. That will deploy your project to your app. So it's uploading now. It's uploading all the files, whatever it's necessary. So it's uploading. So it's finalizing the version, and look at that, it's done. Now all you just need to click this link, copy this link, paste it in your browser, and hit enter. It will load that sign-in page. Look at that. So our app is up and running. If you click this, it will open that pop-up, and if you click that, it will take the user to the home screen. Look at that. We successfully logged in to our profile. So sometimes that email ID it's not picking up properly. If you refresh it, it will work fine. Look at that, how fast it is. The site is up and running super fast, and it's cool. I can filter it. Nope. Nature, see, I can filter it. I click home page over here, and I can toggle between the night mode and dark mode. And if I click here, it will take me to the upload screen, upload page. It's working fine. And if I click here to my account, it will take me to here. And if I go to home screen, if I click this user, it's working fine. And if I click here, it will be logged out successfully. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, hit this like and then share this video with your friends, and I will see you in the next course. Bye bye, take care.